Okay, go ahead, please. Yes.
Yeah, so like I was saying, so I work for the Canadian Health Food Association, which is Canada's largest trade association that represents natural, organic, and wellness products. And how this came to be was, there's kind of two different things that we do as an association. We do more as an association, but two main things. And one is that we host two major trade shows each year, one in Vancouver and one in Toronto. And there's 1,000 brands that are there, six to 7,000 industry professionals. And my team walks the show floor just looking for what is new, what is interesting to report on. Second to that is we also invest in a lot of primary consumer research. A lot of the brands that we represent, they are small to medium size businesses, and they don't necessarily have the money to invest in data and insights. And so what we do is we invest that and just provide them a little bit more color as to who the Canadian consumer is and how they're engaging with wellness, whether that be through their attitudes around proactive wellness or how they're using certain products or how they're thinking about bigger things that are happening in the world. And so that's how we got here, these two things kind of combined. My team was walking the trade show floor, and we started to notice more sexual wellness products on the show floor. And that spans quite a range. Everything from period care products to natural condoms and things like that, all the way through to pregnancy support, perimenopause support. And like I said, we could just start to see these pops of some really innovative brands on the show floor. So when it was time to do our research, we wanted to see, again, how were Canadians engaging with that, especially from a natural, organic, and wellness standpoint. And so we asked Canadians, were they making the connection between sexual wellness and their overall health and wellness? And the answer was yes, they definitely were. But there was still quite a bit of stigma, our research found. So almost 75% of people said that, they still didn't feel open talking about different issues in that space. So, and again, that's a pretty broad space. It could take a range, like I said, everywhere from kind of like puberty through to older ages, but still a lot of stigma. And so again, coming back to the brands that we represent in our space, I think a lot of them are doing some really interesting things on education, on breaking down, some of the symptoms that people might be experiencing, and really trying to get people to open up and find solutions to their health concerns.
So when you talk about stigma, what exactly do they mean by that?
Just a lack of openness. Either they feel ashamed or they
So
don't feel like they can.
is it with their partners, or who is it that they feel ashamed of?
We didn't ask about that specifically. We just asked, I can actually get you the specific question if you give me a second. We asked,
Yeah.
oh, I have to, if I can come back to you with the specific question, but
Sure.
I have the report in front of me, but it was, do you feel stigma or openness around sexual health? And sorry, 71% net agreed that they still felt some form of stigma around talking and being open about their
Yeah,
sexual
but
health.
that is a very, very generalized kind of a question.
Hmm.
It's like, have you ever fallen in love? Yes, but it
Yes.
doesn't really tell you anything about who is or when, and nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So,
this was a question as part of a broader report. We
uh-huh.
were looking at other areas as well, so we didn't go very deep on sexual wellness. We wanted to understand, like I said, the connections between sexual health and overall wellness, and then we wanted to probe into some of those areas that we were seeing on the show floor. So menopause, perimenopause being one, green pregnancy. So how were people viewing their pregnancy and the types of products they were looking for were the two main ones we went in. But like I said, we still noticed that, people weren't really openly talking about it. We've seen this again through some other marketing activations that have started to pop up in the world. And so just wanting to understand, were people still really holding back? One interesting thing we did find, though, is younger generations tend to be a little bit more open talking about some of the issues that are happening. And I think we can see when people do start to talk. I don't know how closely you've been following the conversation on perimenopause and menopause, but that has really taken off, I would say, in the last few years, and people are much more openly sharing about the symptoms that they're having and the issues that they're experiencing. And that has really been able to provide, I think, a lot of women with access to products and healthcare that they need to support them through that transitional phase.
Well, I'm interested less in how they relate to the products
Hmm.
or in terms of how they relate to each other.
Hmm.
So do you have any insights in terms of the research and the practices that you have undertaken to throw some light on what kinds of things, for example, marital couples do not talk about and how to promote them being more open?
No, unfortunately, we didn't look in that. Again, we represent our members, our product base. So we were looking more into menopause and green pregnancy. So what were people experiencing from a symptom standpoint that could help our member companies innovate and provide solutions to their problems.
Okay, so let's go there. So what kinds of products are becoming more popular as opposed to older products? What are the new products that are more popular?
Yeah, I think especially around perimenopause and menopause, our research found that 2/3 of women were actually very interested in a natural solution versus a hormone replacement therapy. Um, I'm not a healthcare practitioner. I'm not here to speak on the pros or cons of a hormone replacement therapy.
Sure.
But I think, that really shows us that there's a place for natural health products within that space, whether that's something that supports bone health, like a vitamin D or a vitamin K2, magnesium to promote relaxation or better sleep, or some really great products that have some great herbal remedies in them that just help with that hormonal support through that transition. So a product that jumps to mind is there's a great brand called Erin Wellness. She has a product called So Harmonious that helps with hormone support through that phase. I believe she also has a product that addresses vaginal dryness, another symptom that we uncovered that many women experience going through that phase. So those are some of the products that would jump to mind.
Mhm. You also mentioned natural condoms. What are those?
Yeah, so I actually pulled it up because I wanted to make sure I was speaking accurately. There was a brand that we recognized on the show floor called Nixit, so Nixit. And I just pulled up their benefits. And so they call out free from parabens, spermicides, and glycerin, also lubricated with pure silicone oil, and no UTI causing chemicals, fragrances, or dyes, which we know, again, if you think about people being more tapped into different health issues, vaginal health and some of the issues that may come, especially as you go through perimenopause and postmenopausal states. Those are jumping out as really important.
Okay. You also mentioned green pregnancy.
Mhm.
What is meant by that?
Yeah, it's interesting. We did a study back in 2022 coming out of the pandemic to understand Canadians' attitudes around health and wellness, especially how they had shifted. And one of the questions we asked was, what made you interested in the natural organic space? And probably no surprise, one of the top ones is people when they get pregnant or are looking to get pregnant start to become really cognizant of the products they're putting in and on their body. Um, and so our industry, again, really provides a lot of solutions, whether that's more eco-friendly cleaners, fragrance-free laundry or beauty care products, for example. But then also foods and supplements to help support you through pregnancy. So really thinking about nourishing the body, lots of folic acid, antioxidants, fiber, protein, just really better for you solutions that can help support you without any of maybe the chemicals or artificial things that people want to avoid.
Well, I'm totally in favor of that.
Mhm.
But what is the research that supports the efficacy of those things?
Oh, I mean, that's very, very broad. I mean, if you're looking at different vitamins or supplements versus a food, I mean, I think really what we champion is nourishing the body and better for you foods. But I mean, that's a very, very broad question to speak on all of the different science that would be behind all those nutrients.
Well, in terms of the green pregnancy,
Mhm.
apart from the nutrients, are there any sort of specific natural supplements that you feel will help a person get pregnant, for example?
I can't speak to that. I mean, I can speak to what consumer demand is looking for, and consumer demand is looking for products that will support their fertility, will support them even postpartum as well. Things like lactation support, people are looking for natural solutions. So there's a product from St. Francis Herb Farm. I think it's fenugreek blessed milk thistle that provides lactation support. I think another thing that we're seeing from a consumer demand perspective is recognition and awareness around that postpartum phase. So I think traditionally we have seen that in other cultures, that is really a time that's considered to be about rest and replenishing the body and bringing hormones back into balance. In this more Western culture, I tend to think sometimes we talk more about getting your body back, or it feels more about weight loss than it is about actually supporting the body. But we are definitely seeing a shift in that. And again, providing people with really nutritious, quick, easy meals or dietary supplements that bring that balance back to the body, becoming more and more in demand from consumers.
So a person who would be interested in exploring sort of, green pregnancy and green menopause, where would they find the information?
I would always recommend going into one of the amazing independent health food retailers. Their staffs are incredibly educated in terms of health and nutrition. They are also the ones that have deep, deep product knowledge, and they can definitely tailor plans and customize things specifically for the needs you have. Because again, this is, as you know, very, very broad in topic, and the issues people might be experiencing can be very individual. So I would definitely always recommend that independent health food retailer. Go in, talk to them, and they'll be a really great starting point to get you on your way.
And what about the CHFA? Do they have a website?
We do, yeah. You can find us at chfa.ca. Yeah, lots of information, especially, again, we're a trade association. So for the brands that we represent, we work on education for the industry. We advocate for the industry, so making natural health products and better for you foods, organic and wellness products more accessible to more Canadians. And yeah, like I mentioned, our trade events that happen twice a year in Toronto and Vancouver.
Good. And you yourself, what is your position? Are you VP of Marketing?
I am, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Final question, self-care. Normalizing sexual health and access to resources at every life stage. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, coming back to the brands that are doing some great work in this space, they are spanning everything from period care right through to post-menopause. So doing a lot on the consumer education side of things, providing solutions to issues that people are experiencing or they're indicating that they're interested in. So again, green period care, we're seeing that come up more and more. There's a great brand called Joni. Nixit, who I mentioned, they also have a line of period care products. So definitely, like I said, everything from that period care right through to the later stages in life, providing education and solutions to those problems.
Okay, in terms of your own experience, have you directly dealt with any women who have had problems communicating their needs to their partners?
Not directly. I'm again not a healthcare practitioner, not someone
I know.
who's working directly with consumers. I'm more talking to the brands and how they're helping to educate. So not directly, unfortunately.
Not directly.
Yeah.
Okay. And any sort of thoughts about where you go from here? What are your future plans?
I hope we can still bring more Canadians, more natural and organic solutions to all of these different phases of life. And, beyond sexual wellness, we are always championing and advocating for more healthy living products for more Canadians. I think really believing that proactive health and wellness has a role in our overall healthcare system. And so really working to push this industry forward and make sure that more Canadians have access.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Very good. Okay, I'm just going to check to see if there was anything else I wanted to ask. I think I got all the information that I need. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks again. And yeah, if anything else comes up, feel free to reach out, but we appreciate the opportunity.
Sure, I will. And thank you for speaking to me, and you're doing wonderful work. I totally support it.
Oh, we appreciate it so much. And thank you again for the opportunity.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.